Hello world. So I know I promised you that we'd be talking about team member introductions and going through different deck lists and that sort of thing, and I really want to do some of that. I meant to get a lot more of that out before Worlds this year, but I'd be remiss if I didn't give some coverage to the new requirements to get to Worlds in the coming year, in the 2024 season. So we're going to talk about that today instead. Basically, the requirements for the 2024 season are to get 600 points, but they've also lowered the best finish limit to 6. So what that means is you can't get minimum placements in 8 different things to get your points. But it means something else too. In the past, Pokemon has had requirements in the 500, 550 range, that sort of thing. It's been actually possible several years to get to Worlds just by dominating local events. Now, don't get me wrong, you have to dominate, but you could get to 520 points by winning 8 cups and 8 challenges. So that could be your invite if you just placed in the top 128, or maybe even 256 of a single regional. That would get you up to the 550 point. And if you didn't win all those cups and challenges, but you came close, you could still a 128 or maybe a top 64, or just playing at NAIC basically could get you there. That's not the case this year. Because of the best finish limit being dropped down from 8 to 6, it means that you can only get 390 points if you were to destroy every local event. It doesn't seem like that. Still seems like a good smattering of points, but the other side of the coin then is you have to get at least 210 points from regionals. Now, 210 points, breaking it down, you can still get there with 6 finishes that are in the top 128. Obviously, you'd like to do better. You'd like to get a top 64, top 32, top 8. But you're going to have to get all of those finishes at minimum, or some really deep finishes. When I first heard the news, when I first saw what it was breaking down to be, it kind of struck me. It felt like a blow, because I'm a family guy. I've got a wife, I've got a kid. Traveling to a half dozen regionals is kind of tough for me. And that's assuming that I make it to get points in every single one I play. Hopefully I do. But it's gonna be a tough challenge, and it basically makes me feel like I have to play at NAIC if I want to have a shot. I was originally not planning on going to very many regionals, and I guess I'm gonna have to go to more than I expected unless I do extremely well at one of them. And it almost made me want to back down. So if you're out there and that's how you felt when you heard the news, if you almost wanted to quit, wanted to say, you know what, I can't do this, that's too many points, I feel you, but give it a shot. I talked to my wife, we talked it through, and we decided that I'd go through, do the regionals we can do between now and January, see where we end up, and go from there. Hopefully I make good points in a few regionals between now and then it's an entirely different conversation at that point. But it's better to try and fail than to not try at all. Even if this is your first time off the bat going out there trying to make it, try, because you're never going to get there if you don't try. I learned that the hard way in some of my jobs over the years, and it's the number one mistake that I think most people make in any of their professional pursuits, is to just think something's too hard and not try. So go for it, give it your best. You may have to play in more events, both regional and otherwise, than you expected, but okay, do that. If you can't do that, if you literally cannot make it to those events, then I'm going to follow suit with what a lot of other players, big players, have been saying, and said that, Pokemon's not just about Worlds. I've been playing the game for almost a decade now, and This is only my second time even trying for Worlds, but I've had a whole lot of fun just playing recreationally, coaching and teaching students that then made it to Worlds, and that's kind of a big deal to me. And judging and holding my own tournaments, being a TO. So if you can't go to the events that would be a minimum requirement to get there, that's still fine. You don't need to just stop playing. Just find other ways to enjoy the game, because that's really the biggest thing that's about. Now, with that said, we'll come back soon and have more of the type of content that I promised that we'd have. But I wanted to get this out there now while it was timely.